Hey guys, welcome to the bar. Tonight we're going to be talking about Oban Distillers Edition 2013. Double matured in American bourbon and sherry casks. No idea how this is going to be, but we're going to taste it, rate it, and let you know how it goes.
What is up?
Hey guys,
Hey,
it is Scotch for Dummies.
Four guys on the Scotch journey to help you with your next Scotch purchase.
Which may be from Oban.
Oban.
It's been an Oban time.
Oban is on the west coast across from the island of Mull, I believe.
It is. It's as far west as you can go, essentially.
And there
Without
was,
going to an
there was
island.
nothing there before the distillery.
And they started distilling, what, 30 years?
1793. So what, 30 odd years before it was legal.
Yeah, if you know what I mean, right?
But they were so far out, I don't think anybody was paying
Well,
much
and
attention.
they,
Probably.
so a family opened up the brewery, essentially, and then about a year later they said, you know what?
May I?
Let's distill this stuff.
You know what would be better than beer? Whiskey.
I mean, you figure,
Whiskey,
okay,
lads.
so 1793, you don't have refrigeration, beer goes bad.
True.
I mean, you can stretch it because it's got alcohol content, but whiskey never goes bad. So
I like
you
that.
figure you can ship it over. You can. There's lots of people on the West Coast that are looking for something to drink, and
And they had it.
they had it.
And
so.
that was good for them.
So they're located west coast. They're in a town that was built around the distillery, and it was literally built around. There is no room to expand. They're not going
And they
anywhere.
haven't tried to. They haven't relocated or expanded since they started.
Right.
It is what it is. They have two stills. They still have wooden washbacks. They have a worm tub.
Yes.
Like it's a pretty traditional
It is.
way of doing things.
It's one of the more traditional. They use a double worm tub where they actually split the distillate off into two different worms and they run it hot to try and keep the copper content up. It's a slow distillation. It's a slow fermentation. What you're probably looking at here is a really light whiskey. That's kind of the intent of what they're doing. And plus, when you do those long fermentations, you can get all sorts of different flavors and fruits and stuff into that beer before you start the distillation.
43%
Yep.
ABV.
It is.
No age statement on the bottle, although they tell you distillation and bottling dates, so you can figure it out
Yeah.
according to
If
their
you
website.
can do math.
We do struggle sometimes, I'm not going to lie. But the Distillers Edition is 14 years in ex-bourbon, and then
Looks like about a year.
yeah,
Based off of
based on the dates. We're
Yeah,
gonna say somewhere.
and they're careful about that. They don't put the distillers or blenders they taste those once they put them in the pheno casks. They taste them pretty frequently to make sure that they're not going too far because they
Right.
want to keep it pretty well balanced.
Because this Pheno is a little bit different than your traditional
Yeah,
Pedro
so
or
they're
Oloroso,
saying it's
right?
a Montilla Fino, so it's in between a Fino and an Oloroso. So it's starting. The wine is starting to oxidize. It's got. So the way they do it, they put a mat, basically, for lack of a better word, of yeast on top of the wine in the barrel, and that mat keeps the wine from contacting the air so it doesn't oxidize. And while the yeast is continuing to ferment the wine, and so at some point the alcohol content raises high enough that it kills some or all of the yeast, and that mat starts to sink. And when that happens, now the wine is exposed to air, and so now you start to get oxidation, which introduces different flavors into the wine a little
Kind
bit.
of built-in
So-
timer then.
yeah,
Right.
kind of a little bit. So, and I guess for a long time they didn't understand the process of like how all that worked. They were just doing it, and they're like, "Man, it tastes great," you know. So I mean, they'd been doing it forever.
I actually read somewhere that they started. They're like, "Oh, this is bad wine. Just put it in the."
That was it.
It was true this time. But I mean, so this is a different style of wine.
Yeah, so I mean, you're talking about a lighter, fruitier sherry. It's not gonna have big, heavy, bold flavors. I guess is kind of where we're at. But it is going to impart some sherry character into it.
Fans of Oban definitely like the fact that it's got its own signature on its new make. And Oban tends to carry a very traditional nose underneath it. And you can read all forums and reviews all online. Everybody when they talk about an Oban, they talk, it smells like an Oban, kind of like we do with the Springbank, or a Macallan. It's got its own very distinct nose.
So talk to me about Oban. We've done a few different reviews. What's their core lineup? Everybody know what's going on with that?
Yes,
They've got 14.
A 14, a Little Bay, which is an unaged statement. I think 18, and then the
Distillers.
Distillers edition. That's
Yep.
their main core.
Okay.
They do have some 25s and some 30s, but those are.
But they're like one-off kind of
they're
things, really.
not common.
So, but with two stills, their annual output is
pretty
it's-
low.
Yeah, they only do put out like 660,000 liters per year, and there's only 7 people in the distillery that work
Oh,
on
no kidding.
crafting
So-
the whiskey.
Put that into context. So like, what's McKellen putting out a year? What's
Oh,
Glenlivet putting out
Millions
a
of
year?
liters.
Millions.
Well, and the interesting thing is, this is a Diageo company. Diageo owns Oban, so it's a massive corporation. Yet they're not trying to expand it. They're not trying to move it. Oban is what it is, and they will use
Right.
it for their single malts, but they also use it in their blends as well. A little bits in their blend. So they are not trying to change what Oban is. which
Well,
is interesting.
it's kind of refreshing that way.
Yeah.
That, you've got a large company that's like, what you guys are doing is working great. Just keep doing what you're
Keep
doing.
doing what you're doing.
So this was this bottled in 2013. You said this is still available
You
on
can
the
still
market
get it online. I saw it online for $130.
because the bottle that they show on their website right now is a bottle in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So still the same process, ex-bourbon, finished in Fino.
Yep.
The nose boys, I got lemongrass, sponge cake, some malt.
So while we nose this, why don't you guys click on the like and subscribe?
Good idea.
Click all that, subscribe, notifications, all notifications, because you want to get notified of the lives as well as
Don't miss the live
videos.
shows, man. They're so much fun.
Thumbs up is the best thing for
Yeah.
us. Appreciate it.
So Andrew talked about this being a light fruity spirit coming off the still, and that is exactly
That's
how I
exactly
would
what it-
describe it.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've.
It's
But,
fruity.
but the nose has a lot on it. I get orange,
Yeah, a lot of orange zest.
a lot of orange.
Juicy fruit.
It's
I mean, really, it does have
nice.
some citrus. I get a hint of grapefruit. There's
There's definitely some kind of acidic fruit in there.
yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is, I read that Oban is typically like 2 ppm peat. So there's a little bit of peat in here because they do blend some peated barley into their regular grain bill. But boy, I sure don't get it on the nose.
That's lovely.
But maybe it's because it's fairly old.
No.
It's because we've.
They don't say anything about natural color, and they don't. Obviously, we're going to assume. I shouldn't say obviously. We're going to assume that it's chill filtered at 43%.
Yeah. What was the price on this guy?
At $1.20, $1.30 right now.
Yeah, for this particular bottle, I think if you look for their 2017, it's anywhere from 89 to
Oh.
120. And if you look at the age of the Distillers Edition compared to the regular 14, which is part of their core lineup, it says that you should expect the Distillers Edition to have a $15 to $20 premium, somewhere in that neighborhood,
Okay.
compared to
Which-
the 14.
That makes sense.
Sure.
The finish is very interesting, and I'm not sure if it's a hint of that peat coming in, but it just kind of wraps your tongue around in either spices or a gentle peat. But it's so faint that it wouldn't, you know what I mean? But it's
Gentle
like
pepper too.
it's like pepper and cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
But
I would need to try. I think I want to try a new bottle of this because I think it may be past its prime.
I kinda like it, though.
It's got beautiful nose on it. That fruitiness and it's a deep fruitiness. It's not. It's not like I'm not getting lemongrass and things that are more light. I tend to see those air off.
Let
This
it
is
air
a-
off. It's going to
This
air
is,
off.
this is a little bit heavier than that.
Well, and I've had a quick sip, and it was
Mine's
pretty
airing out.
pretty sweet actually up front, and semi malty and kind of orange, almost an orange taste to it too.
it's got a real nice cloying mouthfeel to it. Like it coats your mouth.
It does.
The flavor kind of permeates everything real nice. For a 43% ABV, and I'm assuming that it's chill filtered, right? Mm-hmm. It would have to be.
There is a spicy note on that finish.
It's surprisingly full-bodied for a chill filtered whiskey.
It does. So that's one of the things with the worm tubs. You tend to get a heavier spirit.
But even at that, I mean, normally when you chill filter, you're taking out a lot of those things that give you that like heavy mouthfeel to
So,
it.
5 minutes ago, you guys were saying light. Now you're saying
No, on the nose it's
on
light.
the nose. Okay, I want to
Well,
be clear.
The
right.
mouthfeel is very.
is heavier than the nose.
Yeah.
That's
okay,
got a
that's
pretty
fair.
strong finish
So,
actually.
so I'm not getting a light nose. I'm getting it's like a almost a dried orange, as opposed to like a fresh lemon or something that I see is lighter, lighter grass. Where this is more of a, I mean, it's a heavy fruit. It's kind of a weird. You're not getting that? Am I-
A little bit. I mean, it is. I don't want to make the nose sound like it's like clover or something. It is a little bit more full-bodied nose, but the flavor profile that I'm getting on the nose, I guess, is fruity and floral and fragrant. But it's
Dates,
still
that's
powerful.
what I'm smelling,
Oh,
I'm getting dates on the nose.
yeah, I could get that maybe.
Ham. Spicy.
I'm starting to get a little bit of the spice on the nose now too.
This is
And I got
nice.
juicy fruit now too.
I
I'm
got
gonna put
it's
a
got
wee
good
bit in.
mouthfeel
I'm
and
really
finish.
close to being able to put a number on this and give you guys my thoughts here. But I wanted to, before I open up, I wanted to put a little bit of water on it, just to be fair. I know people may balk at that at 43%, but
I think
we've done it on every review.
I think it'll hold it just
I
fine.
think it will too.
It's
For a
got
43,
it's got enough body to it.
I think so.
I don't know. I disagree. I think it's gonna.
You think it's gonna fall apart?
All right,
Who's
then
betting?
we're gonna find out.
Flip a coin.
No.
No flipping of the coins.
I already did that.
All right.
All right, so you've got 14 years in bourbon casks, and then you've got an unspecified amount, but we're looking at a year-ish, right?
6 to 12
6 months to 12 months, let's say. And it's a lighter styled sherry, so it's more of a seasoning. Like they're calling it a double maturation.
They are.
Like they say it straight up on the
I
cask.
don't understand how they can say that because it's less than 12 months.
I don't know that it's. I'm not even sure that there is a definition
There's
for
not.
it. You
Which
know
is
what I mean?
probably why they leave it on age. They have the distilled date and the bottle date, but they don't give it an age statement because they don't really know how long it's going to be in there. Because some of those barrels they put in there may spend 2 months in the sherry finish, and some may be a year. Just
I
depends
see
on-
what you're saying.
yeah.
Right.
Huh.
That's an interesting thought. So, did you guys get water on this?
Yep.
Okay. I believe it or
Right, I'm
not.
getting
I got-
more lemon on now.
I got a lemon. I got honey.
Oh yeah, because I was gonna say
A lot of
butterscotch.
honey.
There's a lot more sweetness coming out with water.
But there's still
You guys
some
are
pepper
right.
on there.
I haven't tasted it yet.
It's
Is
got
there?
it's still
It's got
some
more pepper in it than
That's
before.
really tasty. That's a
It's
nice
nice.
dram.
I don't have a problem with
Are
water.
we going
at
to
all.
Oban this summer? No, we're not. It's too far west. Dang.
Yeah. No, the water's good. I wasn't thinking it was going to hold, but it's holding so far.
Who's got a number?
I'm gonna stick with my number. I'll rock
All right.
out.
All right.
So one of the things that I was looking forward to in this Oban, I can remember moons ago. This is probably 2 or 3 years ago. We had done an Oban, and I was on a work trip, and I got an Oban Little Bay at a bar with some colleagues, and they didn't know anything about Scotch. And one lady wanted to smell it, so I gave it to her, and she just turned away like most newbies do, and she said it smelled like vomit, and I was like, vomit, really? So I got my nose, and I'm like, what makes you say that? I smelled something unique. I wouldn't call it vomit. I didn't get that, but she did, right? I got that on the nose here. So to me,
Really?
that's Oban. No, and I'm not saying vomit. I don't think it's. There's something unique in the nose that I can't quite put my finger on, but it's Oban. That's what all I'm gonna say. It's Oban,
like an
right?
astringency,
Now, neat. It had all the things. Yes, it was juicy fruit, and there was some citrus fruits in there. Really spicy on the finish neat. A lot more spicier than I anticipated it would be. It was very cloying, and it kind of coated your mouth. I was surprised with the water. I was actually pleasantly surprised to see it hold the water. I really liked the fact that it brought out some sweetness with that water, so I probably would recommend just a drop or two just to bring that out because it actually still held the spiciness. Not quite as heavy, but it's still there. So I'm really struggling between a 2.5 and a 3. I'm going to stick with my 2.5 number. That stuck with me after about 2 minutes with this dram. That number just popped in my head, and I think that's where I'm going to stay. But I'm enjoying it, and I'm enjoying the fact that I can put a little water on a 43%.
Yeah.
So I'm a 2.5.
I'd agree. I think this is a pretty nice dram. It is a little overpriced, I think, for that. Now for this, whatever. But I do like the heavy mouthfeel on this. I like the dates on the nose. I like the fact that we can add water to it, and you still get good maltiness. And that's one thing I don't think we talked a lot. You get a really good, rich beer malt kind of flavor going through the middle of the palate, which I enjoy out of this whiskey. Again, I'm going to give it I'm between a 2.5 and a 2 on this one. It's not my wheelhouse, but it's really pretty well done, balanced well. A tasty dram. I'm gonna go with the 2.5 on this because this is one that I would have in my bar. I could share this with others. It is a little pricey, admittedly, but for those that don't like those really powerful whiskeys, this is a great representation of just kind of a classic malt, which Oban is a classic malt.
One thing I forgot to mention, I actually appreciated the pheno finish on this because, I mean, obviously we're PX guys, we're Olo guys, right? Everybody loves the PX and the Olo. This is different, you can tell it's different. And I kind of enjoyed having that little bit of a different kind of sherry finish in there.
Yeah, that light sherry is really coming out on the nose now.
Right.
Weird. Okay.
So you did
I'm 2.5.
2.5.
2.5. Okay. So I'm gonna come in as a 2 right now and see if I can talk myself up. So here's the deal. And the reason mostly is because of the price. It's pretty expensive for the quality of what I'm getting out of it. It doesn't really blow me away. It's not super complex. It's kind of your typical type of familiarity of Scotch. Like you give me a Balvenie double wood right now and compare it to this, and they're not that far off. The difference is the Oban has a little bit more pepper on the finish, maybe a hint of. I think it has less malt in the double wood, for example. But but it's not really doing a whole lot for me. I am impressed with the ABV. I didn't think it would hold the water, but it does. I think it did get a little bit better for me, so you could probably play around with that. So that does help it up a little bit. But overall, I think it's just maybe an average, above average Scotch. Nothing really too impressive for me. I'm going to stick with my 2.
Okay.
So 2.5, 2.2? 2.5, 2.5,
Yeah.
2. Am I confusing you?
I'm gonna go 2.25. No.
How you doing? How you doing? Oban is interesting to me. I wish it's one of those scotches that I wish they would bottle at like a little higher ABV. Don't filter it for me. just pour some in the bottle. Let me make my own determination on it a little bit. You know what I mean?
Give me the chunks.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to go crazy.
The floaties in there.
Get it up to 48% ABV and just, let me ride with it. Because at 43%, I mean, it's got a lot going on. I mean, and they stripped out some stuff, and it still is, a pretty big, dram.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it more neat than with water. I thought the water initially brought out some sweet notes that I liked, but they kind of faded, and then I was just left with like a watered down malt with some pepper. And so I didn't care for that quite as much, but neat, I really enjoyed it. Thought the nose was really nice. I went back in and just kind of smelled it for a while just because it really had a nice, pleasant nose. The flavor profile to me was nice. I'd almost dialed the spice notes down just a hair, but other than that, I mean, I really enjoyed the sweet, the floral, all the citrus notes were really nice.
Getting a ton of floral on it right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really nice dram. I'm with Mark. I was kind of in between a 2.5 and a 3, and I'm still kind of. I mean, there's a pretty wide price difference. If you're talking the new backs, you're talking between $89 and $130. That's a pretty big window. Yeah. So I mean, if this was let's say it's a $90 bottle of Scotch, I would say it's probably. I'm going to give it a 2.5. I think that it was almost on the border of 3, but it's just not quite there. I think for that money, I'd have to agree with Drew on that. That there's some other nice ones out there, in that price range or maybe a little lower that offer, similar characteristics that I think I would probably pick up as well. But it's a nice bottle, so I'll give it a 2.5.
So I'm going to make it easy for us. I'm actually going to go up to 2.5 as well to make it an even number because
math is hard?
Math is hard. I poured this. I was interested because I did like it neat as well. I poured just a little topper on it. And you know what I will say about this versus the double wood, for example, in my comparison, this is a little bit sweeter and does have a little bit more of a toffee taste to it than what I remember in the double wood. So it gives me a little bit more of that everyday dram that you're looking for. Yeah. It gives you that plus a little bit more. So
I think this is a little more complex than a 12.
I agree. So I'm going to go up to 2.5.
All right. Makes it easy. 2.5.
Yeah. Everybody can do that math.
Yeah, I can do that math. So Oban Distillers edition 2013 bottling. Yep. It's still out there on shelves. Obviously, the 2017 is probably on shelves too.
Yep, sure.
But 2.5.
That's a 2.5er.
Sounds fino to me.
Guys, make sure you hit the like button for us, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We go live every Thursday. Discord and podcasts.
Man,
we'd love to see you there.
Become a patron and get in on that Discord server.
Thanks.
Cheers, guys.